Hello students, today we are going to start bookkeeping and accountancy's first chapter, that is introduction to partnership and partnership final account. Now before we start the partnership final account, let us discuss something about the last year chapter, which is final account of sole trading concern. Now what is sole trading concern or what is sole trader? So sole trading concern is a business which is handled by a single person. Whatever capital required is contributed by a single person. Whatever managerial investment or whatever managerial skill required, which is contributed by a single person. So he is the single person who handles all the department. He is the single person who handles all the business activity. Like for example, if in any business organization there are different departments like purchase department, production department, sales department, marketing department. So if these are the different departments are there, so all the activities of all these department has to be checked by a single person. That single person has to monitor all those activities, which is that whether these activities are carried on properly or not. So all these things he has to check, and because of that there is a lack of specialization. He cannot be a specialized in any one of the field. If he handles all the activities, if he handles all the matters related with the business, so it can be considered as a limitation of sole trading concern. That one more limitation, as I said, the amount investment. That whatever capital contribution of the partner, it is limited up to a single person. He may invest 10 lakhs rupees, he may invest 20 up to 50 lakhs rupees. But if any business which requires a more capital contribution like 1 crore or 2 crore, so it is difficult to a single person to handle all these amounts, or it is difficult to a single person to manage all these amounts. So to come out of this limitation, that partnership firm came into existence. Now what is partnership firm? Now we will move on to the partnership firm. Now what is partnership firm? Partnership firm or the partnership means where two or more persons came together and start any business activities or do any business activity is called as a partnership. So here minimum persons which is required to start or to run the business is 2. So whenever we want to start any partnership business, at least 2 persons or 2 members should be there who can run their business, who can handle their business activities, right? And the maximum limit of a partner is 50 as per the Companies Act 2013, which is amended in the year 2014. So when we talk about the partnership firm, the minimum partners are 2. So at least 2 persons should be there, and maximum limit, as I said. So the 2 persons, suppose there are 3 persons, they will contribute their amount, they will divide their work, so that once the work is divided between the partners, so they can be specialized in single field. Suppose the one person is handling purchase department since last 10 years, so he will be a perfect or whatever things which is related to the purchase department that he all knows. If any person is handling marketing department or marketing matters, so he will be the specialized in marketing. So that is why in case of partnership firm there can be a specialization, and the limitation like limited capital or the capital investment that can be overcome with the partnership firms, because as the capital required, the partners can be added. We can add partners. If that capital contribution is not possible by 2 persons, he may add 3rd person. If it is not possible by 3 persons, he may add 4th person. So that is how the capital contribution can be done. Now this is what the partnership firm is. Then the agreement between the partners is called as a partnership deed. So that agreement must be in a written form. That whatever agreement between the partners, it should be in the written form. It should not be oral, because oral promises can be broken, and that is why the written agreement can be considered as a partnership deed. So when we prepare the partnership deed, that some contents must be there, that some terms should be clear to each partners, like the name and address of the firm should be there, that whatever name and whatever address of the firm which they are going to run or which they are going to manage, that should be there in the partnership deed. Then the next thing, the name and address of the partners who are involved in the partnership and their limit or their time limit, means how long they are going to run or how long they are going to be as a partner. So that should be mentioned in the partnership deed. If there are two partners, the two partners' name and address should be there. If there are 50 partners, their name and address should be there in the partnership deed. Then the next thing must be there in the partnership deed, their profit sharing ratio. That this is very important and this is the main reason of conflict between the partners, and that is why it must be mentioned in the partnership deed how they are going to share their profit, whether it is equal proportion, whether it is as per their capital proportion, that all must be there in their partnership deed. The next thing which is involved in the partnership deed is the capital contribution. How much capital contributed by every partner, that must be mentioned in the partnership deed. If the first partner contributed 1 lakh, his 1 lakh should be mentioned in the partnership deed. If the second one is investing 10 lakhs, so his 10 lakhs must be mentioned in the partnership deed. So whatever amounts they are contributing, that must be mentioned in the partnership deed. After that, whatever interest payable on the loans and advances, whatever interest chargeable or on the drawings, whatever interest payable on the capital contributed by the partners, that all must be mentioned in the partnership deed. That all must be there in the partnership deed. So these are some contents in the partnership deed. It should be there. These are the some points which are required in the partnership deed. So that is what, as I said, the partnership deed is what it is, a written agreement amongst the partners, between the partners. So once there is conflicts between the partners on the ground of their profit sharing ratio, it can be clear or it can be sorted out with the help of that partnership deed. So that is why that all things must be there in the partnership deed. After that, we will going to discuss, now we will going to start the actual topic is partnership final account. So before we start the partnership final account, let us go through some points which we have learned in the last year, that is in case of sole trading final account of sole trader. So in case of final account of sole trading concern, basically we prepare, or the final account includes these three things. First is a trading account, second is a profit and loss account, and the third is a balance sheet. Now these three included in the final account of sole trading concern. Same three things are included in the final account of partnership firm. Now we are going to study in a comparative form what we have studied in the last year and now what we are going to study in the current year. So last year we have studied the final account of sole trading concern. So in the last year final account of sole trading concern, we usually maintain the trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. So these three accounts we maintain in case of final account of sole trading concern. So the same three accounts now we are going to study in case of final account of partnership firm. Now this year we are going to study this chapter in a comparative form. What we have studied in the last year and now what we are going to study in the current year. So in the last year, in case of final account of sole trading concern, trading account was there, profit and loss account was there, and the balance sheet was also there. Now in the current year also, we have these three accounts also. There is no change, that the maintenance of these three accounts are same as we have studied in the last year, that the effect of adjustments are also same. There is no change in the final account. Now let us discuss about the trading account. Now trading account is an account, it is also called as a nominal account. It is a type of nominal account, or it is a type of factory account. It can be said as a factory account. This is like a factory account. We can write here factory account for our understanding. Factory account, so that it will be easy for us. So this is like a factory account. So the trading account is basically prepared to find the gross profit or a gross loss of the business. If we want to know the gross profit or the gross loss of the business, the trading account is prepared. Now, trading account is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income. As I said, the trading account and the profit and loss account, these two are the account. So if these two are the account, it follows the rule of nominal account. So it is like a nominal account. Nominal account. And you all know the rule of nominal account. What is the rule of nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So on the debit side of this account, this is your debit side and this one is your credit side. So debit says what? All expenses and losses, and credit all incomes and gain. So on the debit side, all expenses are recorded, and on the credit side, all incomes are recorded. So on the debit side, all the expenses and losses are recorded, and on the credit side, all the incomes and gains are recorded. Same, the profit and loss account is going to follow the same rule, that nominal account rule. As I said, the debit, this is your debit side and this one is your credit side. And if it follows the rule of nominal account, again we are going to do the same thing, that debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gain. So these two are the type of nominal account, and that is why it follows the rule of nominal account. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. But the difference between these two accounts is, this is your trading account, and as I said, trading account is like a factory account. So all those expenses which is related with the factory is posted to the trading account. So that means the trading account is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income. Now what is direct expenses and direct income? See, this two account is prepared on the basis of what? Direct expenses. This account is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income. So the next thing is that what is direct expenses and what is direct income? What is direct expenses and direct income? The name itself indicates that the direct expenses means those expenses which is directly related to the production activity. Whatever production of whatever business we are doing, whatever production we are making, that all expenses which are directly related to the production activity is called as a direct expenses. For example, if we have a business of furniture, suppose furniture का business है हमारा, and all those expenses which is directly related to make a furniture, like suppose we want to make a bench. So bench, to prepare any bench, what we require? We require wood, right? Then we require broken, then we require screws. That all things are required to make a that particular furniture or benches. So whatever things, these are the different things which required to make a furniture, and that is why these are the direct things which is required to make a furniture, and that is why the expenses on such things are called as a direct expenses. Is it clear to all of you? Now, direct income. These are all the direct expenses. As I said, that those material or those things which is required to make a final product is called as a direct expenses. And whatever incomes we got by the sale of these product, or for example the benches or the furniture, that all is called as a direct income. So the direct expenses, if it is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income, so the direct expenses are recorded on the debit side and the direct incomes are recorded on the credit side. Now this is what the trading account is. As I said, the trading account is prepared to find out the gross result of the business. So what is gross result? It means gross profit or gross loss. So when we can say there is a gross profit or a gross loss? When the credit balance of trading account is heavier than the debit side. When there is a credit balance on the trading account. Credit balance means when the credit side is heavier than the debit side. For example, all the incomes and gain total is suppose 2 lakhs. The total of all the incomes and gain is 2 lakhs. So the same 2 lakhs is taken. Same total is taken on the debit side also. 2 lakhs. And if all expenses and losses is around 1 lakhs. If all expenses and losses is around 1 lakhs. So the difference between the income and expenses, your incomes are 2 lakhs. So So same incomes is taken on the debit side, and from 2 lakhs when you deduct the expenses, then whatever balance we got, whatever balancing amount we get is called as a gross profit. It is carried down and it is transferable to profit and loss account. If the carried down is on the debit side, then brought down will be on the credit side. So when we transfer it to the profit and loss account, it will be there on your profit and loss credit side. This is in case of profit or gross profit. Now the same in case of gross loss also. So when we can say there is a gross loss, when your debit balance of trading account, debit balance means when your debit side total is heavier than the credit side. Say in the another example, suppose your debit side total is 3 lakhs. If the total of debit, all expenses are 3 lakh and the total of your credit side is 2 lakhs. So the debit side is heavier in that case. So if the debit side is heavier, the same total is taken on the credit side. So 3 lakhs here also. So whatever difference we got on the credit side is called as a gross loss. So here 1 lakh is a shortage. So that 1 lakh is a loss and this is called as a by gross loss. Again it is carried down. So it is carried down, that means brought down will be in the profit and loss account. As we transfer profits on the credit side, say if the loss is there on the credit side, while transferring it, it should be there on the debit side. So when we transfer the loss, on the debit side to gross loss brought down, whatever. Okay, so this is what your trading account is. So again I revise, trading account is prepared to find out the gross result of the business. What is gross result? Gross profit or a gross loss. So on the basis of trading account, gross profit or the gross loss can be identified. Now trading account is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income. It is prepared on the basis of direct expenses and direct income. So as I said, direct expenses means those expenses which is directly related to the production activity, and direct income means those income which is directly came from the production. जो आपने production बनाया है, benches तैयार किए, उसमें से जो income आ रहा है, that is called as a direct income. Okay, so this is what your trading account is. Now after that, as I said, trading account is a nominal account. It is also called as a factory account. So when we are going to solve the question, we should identify only those expenses which is related to the factory and the production is carrying out in the factory. So all those expenses which is related in the factory, that all comes to the trading account. That we will discuss later on. After that, the next account in the final account is profit and loss account. Again, this is account. As I said, if it is account, it must have two sides, the left hand side and the right hand side. As we know, the left hand side is a debit side and the right hand side is a credit side. Now again, if it is account, it is going to follow the rule of nominal account. It is like a nominal account. So when it is like a nominal account, again it is going to follow the same rule which is followed by the trading account. What is that rule is? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So that means on the debit side of your trading account, that all expenses and losses should be mentioned, and on the credit side of profit and loss account, all the incomes and gains should be mentioned. But in case of profit and loss account, as we maintain the trading account, we consider the direct expenses and direct income. But while maintaining the profit and loss account, we should consider the indirect expenses and indirect incomes. Indirect expenses and indirect income. So on the basis of indirect expenses and indirect income, profit and loss account is prepared. So this is basically profit and loss account. So it is prepared on the basis of indirect expenses and indirect income. So now what is indirect expenses? So the indirect expenses means those expenses which is indirectly related to the production, which is not directly related, as a furniture, the process of making furniture which requires the wood, then iron, then screws and all things which is related with that all things are related directly, and that is why these are direct expenses and which is chargeable to trading account. But there are some expenses which is not directly related to the production activity. These are called as indirect expenses. For example, that office expenses. the expenses which is related to the office activity, administration activity, or a selling activity, or a distribution activity. So these are the activities which is apart from the production activity. So as I said, the things which is related to the production activity should be come under the trading account. So the things which is related with the office and administration, selling and distribution, it is simple that whatever income and expenses which is related with the office and administration, selling and distribution, that all comes under the profit and loss account. That all should be taken to the profit and loss account. Now as I said that it is prepared on the basis of indirect expenses and indirect income. And indirect expenses means those are not directly related to the production activity, like expenses in office, like office salary, office rent, office electricity, telephone and charges, taxes, audit fee. So these all are the matters which is related with the office, and that is why all those expenses which are related to the office. Then selling expenses, selling related matters are also taken to the profit and loss account. So selling expenses like advertisement, delivery van charges, delivery van depreciation, then salesman salary, commission, that all matters which is related to the selling activity, that also taken to the profit and loss account. So as I said, these are indirect expenses which is not directly affecting the production activity. आपका production क्या है? To make a benches, and it is not related with that. It is indirectly related. Suppose the marketing team is working on the design of the benches. If the marketing team working on the to capture the more market of that particular benches, so it is again related to that benches only, but which is not directly related, which is indirectly related. That some office staff is working on the design of that benches, so they are not directly working on it, but they are indirectly working on it, and that is why these are indirect expenses. So on the credit side of profit and loss account, all the incomes and gains are recorded. So all the incomes and gains, but which incomes and gains which are indirectly related to the production activity. So all those indirect incomes and expenses are recorded in the profit and loss account. So which are these indirect income which is apart from the business activity? The income which came from the sale of our actual business activity, or by the sale of actual whatever business we are doing. So these incomes are called as a direct income, and it is taken to the trading account. But some business or some incomes we are getting apart from the business activity, like whatever interest we are receiving on one of our investment, or whatever dividend we are receiving, commission, rent. So the incomes, these are the incomes which we receive apart from the business activity. Suppose we sold one of our assets, and on that assets whatever profit we earn, that is again apart from the business activity. This is not our business. Is that our business to sell the property and earning profit? This is not our business. Our main business is to make a benches and sell those benches. So whatever incomes we got by the sale of these benches is a direct income, and that is why it is taken to the trading account. But there are some incomes which is apart from the business activities. These are called as an indirect income, and that is why this is taken to the profit and loss account. Now, when we prepare the profit and loss account, see, for example, your credit side total is 2 lakhs and the debit side total is 1 lakh. Means your incomes is 2 lakhs and your expenses is 1 lakhs. So here your incomes are heavier or more. So 2 lakhs same total is taken on the debit side also, and whatever difference we got on the debit side, is called as a direct. It is called as a net profit. So that 1 lakhs difference is a net profit. When the credit side total of profit and loss account is heavier than the debit side total, it's called as a net profit. So this is what your net profit is. So when we earn the net profit, basically every businessman aim is to earn the profit. Whenever we want to start any business, that the main aim behind that business is to earn the profit. So when the 2 or 3 persons came together to start any business activity, they came together or they come together to earn the profit. So whatever profit earned, it should be distributed among the partners. If there are 2 partners, it should be distributed among the 2. If there are 3 partners, 4 partners, 5, 10, 20. So whatever partners are there, whatever number of partners are there, it should be distributed amongst these partners. as per the profit sharing ratio decided by them and which is there in their partnership deed. So to avoid these concept conflicts amongst the partner on the profit sharing ratio, on the basis of profit sharing ratio, that profit sharing ratio must be decided at the beginning only and it should be there in the partnership deed. So that is why, so if this profit is earned by the businessman, if there are two partners like A and B, and if they are sharing their profits in the equal proportion, for example in the equal proportion, so that 1 lakh is distributed among them like 50,000 and 50,000. This is in case of profit, and whatever profit we got from the profit and loss account is called as a net profit. Now the same in case of net loss. The opposite concept, when your debit side total is more than the credit side, that whatever difference we got on the credit side is called as a net loss. Say, suppose the debit side total is 2 lakhs and if the credit side total is 1 lakhs. So whatever difference we got on the credit side is a net loss. So if credit में कितना difference आ रहा है? 1 lakh rupees difference, and that 1 lakh rupees difference is called as a net loss. So this is your net loss. It is again carried down and it is given to partners A and B as per their profit sharing ratio, 50,000, 50,000. This is how the profit and loss is to be distributed amongst the partners. Okay, so basically trading account and profit and loss account, these two are the account. Trading account is prepared to find the gross result, that is gross profit and the gross loss, and profit and loss account is prepared to find the net result, that is net profit and net loss. So after that, this net profit or net loss, whatever earned, it is transferred to partners. It is transferred to partners' capital. If it is separately maintained, it is transferred to partners' capital. If it is not separately maintained, if we want to maintain it on the balance sheet liability side only, so it should be added to partners' capital account. So the profit should be added to partners' capital. Okay. So these two are the accounts which we maintain in case of partnership final account. See, the same account or the same entries and the same concepts we studied in the last year in case of sole trading concern, in case of final account of sole trader. So the same concept, the same gross profit is also shown on the debit side, gross loss is also there on the credit side. The concept of net profit and calculation of net profit and net loss, both the concepts are same, that everything is same, there is no change. But the thing is that in the last year, that whatever profit earned here, that profit is distributed among the partners. If there are two partners, it is distributed among the two partners. But in the last year, that was a final account of sole trading concern, and as I said, in the sole trading concern, only one owner is there, and that is why this profit or whatever this loss, it is belongs to only that single person. That is the main difference between the partnership final account and the final account of sole trading concern. There was only single owner who handles all the activity, and that is why he is the single person or he is the only person who is entitled to get profit. But in case of partnership firm, if there are 10 partners, if all they are working partners, or if all they are contributing their sales or their managerial ability, their capital in the business, so they are all entitled to get profit in case of partnership firm. So that is the main difference between the final account of sole trading concern and final account of partnership firm. After that, the next things that we are going to maintain in case of final account is a balance sheet. As I said, the balance sheet is not an account. Balance sheet is not an account. It is a statement. So if it is a statement, so there will be no debit or credit side as in case of trading and profit and loss. Right? In case of trading, the left hand side is a debit side and the right hand side is a credit side. But as I said, the balance sheet is not an account, it is a statement. So if it is a statement, it does not have a debit or credit side. Instead of that, the left hand side is called as a liability side, liabilities, and the right hand side is a asset side. So the left hand side is a liability side and the right hand side is a asset side. So liabilities side is also considered as a credit side. See, for our understanding, see, in case of trading and profit and loss account, this side is your debit side, but in case of balance sheet, this side is our credit side. But for our understanding only, you do not have to write that credit or debit in case of balance sheet, because balance sheet does not have a debit or credit side. It is for our understanding only. This is your credit side and this one is your debit side. That balance sheet right hand side is a debit side. This is for our understanding. So now we are going to discuss about the balance sheet. Now, as I said, balance sheet is not an account, it is a statement. Statement of what? The statement of showing the financial position of the business. Whether the business is whether the business is having enough assets or not. Whether the business is having enough capital or not. How the capital is invested. What are the sources of fund. That all things we come to know with the help of balance sheet. That is why it has a two sides, liability side and the asset side. Now, we will discuss about the liability side. Liability means the things which is payable by the business, the amounts which is payable by the business, whatever, it may be whatever reason, when the capital contributed by the partners, it is given to the partnership firm. The partnership firm and the partners, these two has a separate legal existence. If they two have the separate legal existence, so whatever amount given by partners to the partnership firm is payable by the partnership firm. That partnership firm has to pay their amounts to the partners at the time of winding up of the business. So that capital which is invested by the partner is a liability to the business. It is actually liability to the business because at the time of winding up, that amount is payable to the partners. And that is why it is there on the liability side. So whatever capital invested by the proprietors or the owners or the partners, that is there on the liability side because that has to be payable at a certain period of time. Then if this amount is not enough, then sometimes partners may take loan from the banks or any other financial institution by keeping any one of the assets as a security like mortgage loan. So these are the different sources through which that amount is collected. So that amount is payable after some time, after certain period. So that is why these are all there on the liability side. That these are all considered as a liability. See, along with the capital, if the capital is contributed, this is again liability. Then if any loan taken from the bank, loan from bank or any other financial institutions, mortgage loan, that is also considered as a liability. So these are the liability. Now we have that fund available with us, but in the future that amount is payable. So whatever things which is payable in the future is called as a liability. See, there should not be a confusion between the liability and expenses. Because liability means the things which is payable in the future is called as a liability, and the expenses means the expenses are those things which is already paid for. जिसके लिए हमने पैसा पहले ही पे किया है is called as a expenses, और जिसके लिए हमें पैसा पे करना बाकी है, फ्यूचर में पे करने वाले हैं, that is called as a liability. That is the difference between the expenses and liability. Do not confuse between the expenses and liabilities. Expenses should be there in the trading and profit and loss account, but if the liability is there, it should be there on the liability side. If it is payable in the future, then it should be there on the balance sheet liability side. Okay, so that is the difference between the expenses and liability. See, expenses amount which is already paid for. Okay, this is called as expenses. And liabilities is the things amount payable in future. So this is the amount which is payable in future. That is the difference between the expenses and the liability. It is the difference between the expenses and liability. Expenses is what? It is the amount which is already paid for is called as expenses, and the amount which is payable in the future is called as a liability. So the liabilities is the things which is payable in the future, as I said. So the capital which is contributed by the partner is payable in the future. Then loan which is taken from the bank. Now that fund is with us, but that fund may be payable in the future, and that is why it can be considered as a liability. Then whenever any credit purchases is made, the creditors are created. Creditors means it is the people's or the fund which amount is payable. Creditor is a person to whom the amount is payable. जिसको हमें पैसा पे करना है, that is called as a creditor or that is called as a liability. So that is why creditor Creditors are also there. Their bank overdraft, their outstanding expenses. See, we will discuss all those things in detail at the time of their pro formas. So we will discuss all those things. We are just going through it. So these are the liabilities for which we are going to pay the amount. Same, the balance sheet also shows the assets also, because balance sheet is a statement which shows the financial position. So whether we have a sound financial position or not, whether we have enough assets or not, whether we how much liability we have, whether the assets are less and the liabilities are more. So these all things is shown by the balance sheet. So on the balance sheet asset side, that is on the debit side, that is the right hand side, all the assets are recorded. So assets means the things which is owned and possessed by the businessman, or the business is called as assets. So whatever, it may be land and building, it may be furniture, it may be machineries, it may be debtors from whom the amount is receivable, whatever cash available with them. So whatever things they have, that all which is possessed, owned and possessed by the business is called as an asset. So that all is taken on the balance sheet asset side. And at the end, this balance sheet must be tallied. Now one more thing is left, which is capital. As I said, when the profit is earned by the businessman, that profit is added to the capital. Right? And when the loss is there, that loss is deducted from the capital. And if we maintain the separate capital account, accordingly that effect should be given. So that is what the final account of partnership firm is. It is including trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. As I said, these two are the account, and the third one, that is balance sheet, is a statement. It is not an account, and that is why in case of trading and profit and loss account, there is a debit. Left hand side is a debit and the right hand side is a credit. And in case of balance sheet, the left hand side is a liability and the right hand side is an asset. But for our understanding, this is a credit and this one is debit side.